Steve, my good man, how the devil are you?
I'm very well, my man. How are you?
I'm wonderful, my friend. I'm wonderful. We've got our roadmap out of Brexit now, as the media keeps telling us out of Brexit, not out of Brexit. My mind's been very on politics today, as you can tell.
I can tell.
I meant out of lockdown, Steve. I'm just getting confused by the world.
The world confuses me daily, mate. It's a very strange place. But yes, we have got our path potentially out of it, which is very, very exciting. Fingers crossed it all goes to plan. Within a few months, we could be free to, I don't know,
go to the pub again, maybe.
Yeah, I never really went to the pub anyway, so...
Yeah, whereas I spent a lot of my time in the pub.
Yeah, see, I've got 2 kids, and you get really sort of like dodgy looks if you take them in.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, it depends which pub, doesn't it? Like, if you take it to one of those dodgy pubs that's got like iron bars on the window, then yes, that's a bit of a problem. But there's family-friendly pubs.
There is family-friendly pubs. Yeah, we should probably take them there.
Yeah, or just
leave
them at home, and you can go to any pub, Steve. That's okay.
That is very true.
I mean, to be fair, last time you and I went to the pub, my friend, I think your kids were at home.
They were. Yeah, I should probably point out Sarah was with them.
I wasn't going to point that out. I was just going to write it out and see if you did.
Yeah, I think she was here.
She definitely was.
Oh dear. No, we did. Yeah, I forgot we went to the pub, didn't we?
Yeah, that was a while ago. We actually did a show from the pub. The sound quality was terrible. But anyway, Steve, we've got a long night ahead of us, you and I. We've got a lot of recording to get through. And, I remember one more thing I was going to say about coming out of lockdowns there just before I dive into this show.
Go for it.
You sent me that email that was very promising from, I can't remember the guy's names, the motorsport tickets company. With
MSV.
Was it MSV? Okay.
Yeah.
With all of the...
MST.
MST, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. Motorsport Travel.
Motorsport Travel, it is MST, you're right. MSV is the British
Media
Superbike rights holders, right?
Yeah, that's the ones we also need to chase.
Yes, that's true, but we'll get to that. That's not a job for while we're recording. But they have released tickets now for quite a lot of races, both Formula 1 and MotoGP. So everyone seems quite optimistic now that this season is going to go ahead.
I think so, mate. It's starting to look really, really promising. I mean, I signed up to a lot of ticket places years ago just because, I want to get tickets for everywhere and I want to know when they're out. That came through this morning. I got really excited. It was like, oh, that's Formula 1. I kept scrolling and I was like, shit, this has got MotoGP hospitality on it.
Yeah.
And all sorts and travel packages. And it's all for like Catalonia and Austria.
Yeah, what was there? There was Catalonia, Austria, Assen. What else did we have? Aragon. It was even Silverstone's on there.
Yeah, so it's starting to look really, really promising.
Yeah.
Which does make me also a little bit worried that we're going to have to do a backflip.
I mean, it does feel a lot like that, doesn't it? It's going to be a bit like that how last season's Formula 1 started, when they literally had fans at the gate when they cancelled the race.
Oh, that if that happens, I mean, what are we now? 5 weeks away from kickoff.
Yeah.
If that happens, I will cry. That's so cruel, so cruel. It was bad enough with MotoGP last year when they called off the GP race but kept the Moto3 and Moto2.
Yeah.
That was bad enough, but actually have fans at the track.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Formula 1 fucked it last year in that aspect. But I think they've been very sensible to be very careful about not doing that this year. And I think every other international motorsport watched that happen, including MotoGP. They watched that fuck up and were like, we are not doing that. We need to make sure we're better than that. And
absolutely.
Everyone's learnt from it. Formula 1 have learnt from it and everyone else has learnt from it. So hopefully, I'm confident that sort of event won't occur again.
No, I hope not. It's also, if we're coming out of lockdown around the world as well, I don't know what everyone else's measures are like in the countries where you are, but domestic racing as well. Attending races again. We've got Snetterton just up the road. Which hosts some awesome racing. We have the BSB come there. So looking forward to it. I was so desperate to take the boys to a race last year. This is going to be the year. We are going.
Maybe I'll have to get you up here for a Knock Hill round or something.
Oh God, that'd be good. I like Knockhill.
I've never been to Knockhill, so I feel like while I'm in Scotland, I am aware that I'm quite a long distance from Knockhill, but I'm also closer to Knockhill than I am to Snetterton right now. So
That if I said to you, Tim, let's meet at Snetterton, you're going to need to leave on the Friday or the Saturday morning to get there for race day Sunday.
yeah, and there's racing on the Saturday, isn't there? So I'd have to leave like Thursday night to make sure I was there.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. So, all right, but it's looking promising.
Yes.
Very promising. So fingers crossed, and let's hope for everyone else around the world as well that you get some good news wherever you are.
Yeah,
soon.
exactly. That's it. Right, Steve, we've got a bit of a rush schedule tonight, which we'll dive into explaining when we actually start the show. But shall we just get on with it?
Let's go for it.
Good stuff. Right, I'm Tim, he's Steve, and this is For the Love of MotoGP. So we are rushed this today. I say we're rushed. We're not really rushed. We've sort of rushed ourselves today. We're going to go through, for you guys at home, we're going to go through the news and our standard chit-chat bollocks that me and Steve fire off at each other. And then we're also going to record a different episode this week. We're going to record an episode introducing people to MotoGP. So all of you listening, I mean, please do download and listen to our introduction to MotoGP. But the show is not aimed at you as such. It's aimed at people who don't know the sport and don't understand the sport, which is why we're going to release it as a separate show. We don't want to waste any of your time with something that you already understand. So we're going to bring you the new show, and then this will be out on the Thursday as normal, which you know if you're listening. And then on Monday, we will be dropping an extra show this week, which is probably going to be a longie, which is why we're just going to get diving into this one, Steve.
It's definitely going to be long.
Yeah, it could be a longie. We've got a lot of words in front of us here. So let's just dive straight in, Steve. And I think we're going to dive straight in with the sad news of Fausto Gresini. The team owner, the two-time 125 world champion who has been battling with COVID for the last 2 months, has succumbed to COVID. He's passed away, aged 60.
Absolute tragic loss, mate. Really is. Thoughts and prayers and best wishes and condolences go out to his family and friends. Such a loss. Absolute loss.
Yeah.
And there was at times like we've been having regular updates from his family and Gresini, like while he's been in hospital. But sometimes it looked like he was on the mend, he was getting through it, and then he'd sort of take a dip. And this is just finally he succumbed to the effects of COVID. So yeah, tragic loss.
Yeah, it really is. And most people will know him better today as the team owner who has teams in every class. He's got that really great black livery that's in Moto3 this year. He's obviously got the Federal Oil Gresini Moto2 team, the ones that Sam Lowe's rode for, and they've got Fabio Di Gianantonio, I believe, this year riding for them.
I believe that is correct, yes.
Obviously in MotoGP, the last few years, the Gresini squad have been the Aprilia de facto factory team. Before that, ran satellite Hondas, and also a Moto E squad. So well represented in every single class in the MotoGP paddock. But prior to that, he did win 2 titles on 125s. In 1985, he was a 125 world champion, and again in 1987, the 125 world champion. 21 wins in the 125 class, one of the winningest riders of all time, and a huge loss to the Grand Prix paddock and the motorcycle racing community as a whole.
Absolutely, mate. He is going to leave a big hole.
Yeah. Yes,
but there are some lovely tributes going out at the minute online. Everyone's posting their thoughts and like memories, which is really nice. It's nice to see it pouring in. It shows the warmth that he's brought to so many people.
Yeah, exactly. So our thoughts and our prayers are with his family and friends at this time, with his team, with everyone that knew him. We do have confirmation that the Gresini's teams will continue to compete in the class, and they will do so under the same name in his honour.
That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. So we can only wish the teams well, wish the family well, and I hope everyone gets through this.
You watch, they'll go and smash everything this year.
God, imagine just 4 world championships.
Yeah, boom, straight in. I'd love to see it, actually. I really would.
I don't have any faith in Aprilia winning a world championship, man.
No, those stars are not going to align, although if you never know. But
I mean, arguably every other class, there's a decent chance. The inaugural Moto E Championship belongs to Gresini. Jorge Martin's 2018 Moto 3 World Championship belonged to Gresini. The 2010 Moto 2 World Championship, off the top of my head, I think was done under Gresini.
So, yeah, they've got some good honours. Even if they won one championship this year, or anything, any win, or just anything would just be nice for them to take away from this year now.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
So yes, we wish them all well, and good luck to the team. And like I say, our thoughts and prayers are with his family. Let's move on from that, Steve. Let's talk about the news we've heard this week. Further news that we've heard this week. All of it much happier than that news.
Yes.
Let's just dive straight in, shall we, to the Honda team launch.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of team launches this week, didn't we? We saw Honda, the Repsol Honda team launch their bikes, and we've seen the LCR team launch their bikes too. The Honda launch first. I mean, it was fine. It was better than the Yamaha launch.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad launch at all. I like their little snippet going through like the history.
Yeah, that was nice. To be honest, I didn't realize that was happening. So I was doing some other work, and I had one headphone in with the YouTube channel open, playing. But that history video started with exactly the same music as the countdown video beforehand. So I was like, I only had 3.5 minutes. I'm like, this is weird. As I'm typing away, doing some work. I'm like, it's been like 10 minutes. Then I clicked across the video and I was like, oh shit, it's already playing. So I had to rewind to watch that bit.
I quite enjoy it. They listened. Someone at Honda was like, "Here, this guy Steve, he's got something here.
He's got something. We'll have that. We could use his idea and just do less CGI to it."
All right, so I'm waiting for the check.
You can probably keep waiting, man.
I think everyone at Honda is like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, exactly. They're like, "You put that idea out to the world, mate. That's your fault."
Yeah, that's a freebie. There was no stamp on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Next time we need to start watermarking all your ideas.
We're gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like put these in a little envelope and ship them off to you. But Tim, sort this out. Patent this one. But yeah, not a bad launch. Much better than the Yamaha. Unsurprisingly, the bike hasn't changed.
Don't even. Literally hasn't changed at all.
No, I spent actually 25 minutes scouring this thing.
And it hasn't changed for 2 years. It's not even like it's the same as last season. It's the same as fucking 2019.
Exactly. But if you look online, you follow us on the Facebook group, I put that 2019 bike on there because it just has not changed. I mean, the aero at the front is the only thing that's slightly cosmetically changed, and maybe a few tweaks here and there.
But it's not noticeable tweaks, man. If I was sitting trackside and one of them bikes blasted past, and you wouldn't know at all. I don't think I'd know even if I was standing next to the two machines.
No. So I wonder if you're listening, go see whoever is selling some LSD on your street corner. Get some crayons out and get creative, boys.
Yeah, quite. But the whole launch itself, it was better than the Yamaha one. It was still a bit long for my liking.
It was, yeah, I do agree. I like a short KTM style. I know we banged on about it before. Something that's short, sharp, punchy, get it done.
Yeah.
I want to see the bikes. We know the history. We know what we did last year. I want to know what you're doing this year.
Yeah. I did like the history, though, that the showing us the different machines. Good. I enjoyed that because I enjoyed just trying to guess like who rode what. So that was fun. I enjoyed that. And I like the fact they did that and then they just showed us straight away this year's machine. And then they went into all the spiel. So if you didn't care about the interviews, you could just be like, I've seen the bike now, I'm off. And you could just stop. So you didn't actually have to watch all 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it was. You could have just watched 8 minutes and you're done. And I like that. I appreciate that. Give people what they want straight up. And if they want more, they'll stay for more. Don't dangle what they really want until the end because people will just turn away and they'll do what I used to do and they'll just go on MotoGP.com later and just look at the gallery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you weren't alone there. Everyone, I think with the Yamaha one, a lot of people dropped out of that early.
I literally dropped out of it. I was dropping in and out of the Yamaha one for an hour, hoping it would just end.
I think I turned it off for a long time.
Yeah, I think most people we've spoken to did exactly that.
Yeah, just picked up all of the bikes that are fucking done.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Could have been better. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that's it. The LCR launch, though, I actually over 2 days. Obviously, we had the LCR, the Alex Marquez launch, and then we had the Idemitsu LCR Taka Nakagami launch over 2 days.
Yeah.
I got behind that one. And I've watched them both, and I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed the fact that it was Simon Crafar speaking very calmly and quietly while introducing the machinery. And he's dressed up very smart. It was like a classy jazz night going on. There's a red curtain behind him. I was feeling a bit ASMR'd watching him. It was nice.
Exactly what came into my head.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
I was drifting off. He was nodding me off to sleep a little bit. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Crafar. I think he's a brilliant racer, but his voice is a little monotone for me. You know, it does have that droll to it. But again, he's very insightful, and he did a cracking job of hosting that.
Really good. Yeah, it was a really good launch. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the interviews and everything on them were really, really good. That was my second favourite team launch after the KTM one, and actually my favourite of the longer team launches as well, because that was about 45 minutes for each one, wasn't it?
It was, but it was just done in such a better way. Something you can actually get behind. Yeah, and I completely agree. Yeah, my second favourite launch.
Yeah, certainly. What do you think about the liveries?
I like them. I really, really like Taka's bike. I think that looks bloody awesome with the gold. I like the gold in there.
It's funny. I'm really not a fan. I don't like the gold that much. It's a bit like when Suzuki last year put the weird silver bit on their bike that a lot of people really like, but I can't get behind. I think this must be a problem with me because most people are have the same opinion as you. But I'm looking at it like I don't like this block colour. I'm not really a fan of it. But I think it's a problem with me. I think most people do agree with you.
I think it's almost very retro styling. They're going back to like the days of the RC30 with the sort of striping, how it comes up, all sort of fading into the back, pointy at the back, blocky at the front.
Yeah,
fading into the seat fairing, which I quite like. I do really like Alex's bike, but.
Yeah, I didn't like it to start with, and then I spent a few minutes looking at it, and I could get behind it. I really did enjoy it, but I think I know where you're going with this.
Yes, I was okay till somebody referenced the Colgate toothpaste.
Yes.
On our Facebook group.
That's it.
Which, don't get me wrong, absolutely had me in stitches, Andy. But yeah, you have fucking ruined it for me, mate.
Yeah, quite. And I feel exactly the same because now every time I see it, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, it does look like a tube of Colgate toothpaste. I guess for I don't know, is Colgate a global toothpaste brand or are they a UK toothpaste brand?
It's got to be global. It must be. Colgate is a massive company. It must be global.
Yeah, I assume so. I don't know. I assume they probably are, but then again, I'm not a dentist or a tooth enthusiast, so I don't really know. But for anyone who's not seen it, like, come and join our Facebook group and you'll see the comment thread there. Or just Google Colgate toothpaste and put it side by side. And yeah, Andy was bang on. It's exactly that. They are almost identical.
I keep seeing it. Every time I see it now, it's going minty fresh.
Yeah, quite. Every time I'm going to be watching MotoGP, I'm going to be like, oh, that's a good job. Alex Marquez has got a cracking smile on him and he's glinting away as he blasts past us.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious. As soon as I saw that post, I was like, fucking hell, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, bang on. Absolutely right. So, yeah, that's quite infuriating because it has sort of ruined the livery.
Yeah, not that much that, I still don't like it, but that's definitely taking the edge off of it.
Yeah, quite. And to be fair, while I think LCR do what they can with the liveries, I don't think they've had a good livery since the CWM one.
No. I do like it when they rock out the full Castrol livery every now and again.
That's a good point. The full green Castrol job is a good one. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Which I kind of thought this was going to be more green. I was surprised when you got the blue in there.
I think it was though, like people have discussed, wasn't it? Is it was they didn't want it to be a Cal Crutchlow bike with Alex Marquez sitting on it, so they had to make it different. They had to put some different colours in there to make it Alex Marquez's bike. And they succeeded in doing that. It looks very different to the Crutchlow machines we saw in the past.
It does, yeah. It's still nice. I still like it. I will still be it's going to stick out under the lights. All these bikes this year have got one thing in common: they're all really going to stick out under the lights of Qatar, and whatever track we go to, they're going to look brilliant.
They all do look very different this year, at least. Like they're going to be very easy to pick out.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes in the past, it's quite hard to pick out who's who. But this year it's definitely going to be quite easy to, especially with the bloody orange KTM, and be able to see that a mile off.
Yeah, quite.
There it is. Where is it? I don't know, but I could spot that dot over there.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we're still yet to see, aren't we, what a few teams are doing. We're still waiting on a Suzuki, on a Sepang Racing Team, a Pramac, and an Aprilia launch.
Yeah, they're still to come. I can't remember exactly when they are. They have all. Aprilia, I think, announced when they're going to be.
They've all been announced when they're going to be, and they are all going to be within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I know one's on the 1st of March. I'm really interested to see what Suzuki do, because they did put out a thing on social media where they wanted you to design your own livery. Obviously, they probably won't use that, but SRT will be quite an interesting one with what they do incorporating like Rossi's colours into it.
I'm not even sure they're going to incorporate his colours. I think they're just going to whack him a yellow 46 on the front, and that's all you're fucking getting. Off you go.
I wouldn't be surprised if he squeezes a little bit of yellow in there, like he did on the Ducati. He had a few stripes.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Rossi's Ducati was very, very different to Nicky Hayden's Ducati. Like, they were two almost different liveries at the time. Like, Rossi had a lot of sway then. But to be fair, when Rossi went to Ducati, he went as the 9-time world champion who had only missed out on his 10th championship because he broke his leg. Whereas now he goes to Petronas, like, a decade later than that, as 9-time world champion who's not won a championship for 10 years.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how much he gets on there, because that'll give you, like you say, a little bit of an idea of how much weight he has in there. But yeah, the Pramac one will be interesting as well, because they always throw up some nice livery.
I think Pramac are consistently underrated good liveries. I actually don't think a lot of last year's livery, but generally I think the Pramac machine has been just a solid 7.5 out of 10 almost every single year. Just a consistently good livery, yeah.
And the Aprilia as well. Aprilia is a nice looking bike, and I really like the colour scheme.
It's just a shame it can't go any faster, Steve. That's the issue there, isn't it? It doesn't matter how good it looks, it's always tainted by the fact that it's a little bit shit.
Yeah, but the good thing is if it's a little bit slow, we get to see it for longer as it goes past.
I mean, Sky are getting a fucking good load of money out of their sponsorship, aren't they?
That might be why they're slow.
Sky are paying them to just knock it off half a second a lap slower so we get the TV time.
Yeah, if this year we see a lace going past, like in a pose with a can of Red Bull or whoever their energy drink sponsor is, and he's like that.
I don't know if they have an energy drink sponsor.
I don't think they
he's
do.
sponsored by Raw, isn't he?
Raw products, fitness recovery drink, I think it is.
Oh. So, funny story, and I'm going to drop myself in it a little here, I think. But Raw always, when I was a teenager, I used to buy Raw skins.
Oh yeah, you still get them.
Okay, so you can't. So that's every time I see his Raw helmet, I'm like, he cannot be advertising blunt wraps. Surely that's not what he's doing. And I've never really thought enough about it to Google it. But now you've told me it's an energy or a recovery drink. That makes a lot more sense than advertising blunt wraps.
I think. Let me just have a quick gander. It wouldn't be one of our shows without
a quick Google.
Yeah. So they are spelled Raw. The energy drink is just complete straight up raw. The ones you're thinking of are now Raw Authentic.
Okay, fair enough. So it's the Raw Authentic blunt wraps and the Raw energy drink or energy recovery drink, which I imagine, knowing Alicia Spargaro, is like some weird sugar-free, completely natural, like this will get you pumped full of like, I don't know, bull shark testosterone or something.
Bull shark testosterone. I don't know what it is. I've seen, I think it's Raw products he uses. But yeah, I've seen him sort of advertising something along that line, but I can't imagine it being the
It's not the blonde wraps, is it? Well, let's move on from that, I think.
Yeah, before we get ourselves in trouble.
Quite. Where are we next? So during the Honda launch, we saw obviously Marquez. We saw him in his full Repsol leathers again. We saw him standing next to Pol Espargaro, his new teammate, and it dawned on me quite quickly then that I'd never really appreciated how good looking Marc Marquez is and how unattractive poor old Pol Espargaro is. But when you see the two side by side, you're like, whoa, oh dear, this poor Pol here, poor Pol.
Pol's not a bad looking chap.
But put him next to Marc Marquez, my friend, and he's not an attractive boy. I think he might only be attractive in our minds because he's been paired with Bradley Smith for many years. Which, no offense to Brad, but he's not a pretty man, is he?
He's no Frankie.
He's no Frankie, exactly. And even when it was who else has he been alongside? Iannone, to be fair, you're never going to compete.
Oh, you're never going to win that battle, are you?
No, of course he wasn't aside Iannone. That was his brother aside Iannone. I'm getting my Espargaros confused. He was alongside Zarco.
Even so.
Zarco's a good-looking chap, but not so much on the Red Bull gear. I don't think Zarco suits being at the back of the grid. It makes him a bit moody. He's not an attractive, moody man. He's an attractive, happy man, not moody.
Yeah, I'll back you on that one. He's a happy Frenchman.
Yeah, exactly. And then who was it? Oh, apart from that, they're his only teammates, aren't they, in MotoGP?
Yeah, I think they are, actually. Yes, they are.
Smith for many years. Zarco. And then last year, Brad Binder.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's it. Although Brad Binder's just quite a smiley chap, but Brad Binder's a bit scary. So
we've had this discussion before, haven't we?
Yeah, Brad Binder's the scary one. But yes, so he's always looked like the attractive man. I feel like recently, Steve, this show has just become Tim's opinions on how attractive MotoGP riders are.
A little bit. I'm starting to get a little bit worried here.
There's nothing to worry about, mate. It's perfectly natural. We don't concern ourselves with these things. But yes, we saw him alongside Marquez. Marquez looking very short, but also looking nice back in leathers back. I liked the crouch shots on the bike. He looks ready to go. And then we saw some interviews with him afterwards, didn't we?
Yeah.
And during those interviews, he had a lot to say, actually. He's been the most vocal we've seen him for quite a long time.
This is the first interview he's done since the crash.
Is it the first interview?
Yeah, the first sort of public speaking that he's done about his recovery and comeback.
Okay, so he's had 9 months to curate these answers.
Yeah, so he's had a long time to figure out what he's going to say.
Yeah.
I thought looking at him, he looked thin in the face.
Yeah, I did sort of think that too, but then I think a lot of the time we see pictures of him where he looks quite thin in the face anyway. I think sometimes he just does a nice pouty pose to the camera and it just kind of draws his cheeks in and things, so I think that's a lot of it.
I think you could be right. Yeah, he's mixed bag on his reaction. He seems very, very optimistic about his recovery and how things are going.
Yeah.
I was hoping he didn't really give up too much on when he'd be back. I was hoping for a little bit more of a carrot dangle from him on when he could be back. I mean, some people online were sort of saying it could be a race or two.
It seemed a bit strange because from what I got from watching it was I got that he implied that he definitely won't be back for the Qatar test.
No, he's announced that he won't be back.
But he might be back for race 1 in Qatar. But if he's not back for race 1, he'll be back for race 2 in Qatar. But if he's not back for race 2 in Qatar, he'll be back for race 3 in Portimao. But if he's not back then, and on and on and on. So you're right, we kind of didn't get an answer. He kind of said a lot of words, but didn't give an answer.
Yeah, he basically answered a question with a very open-ended, take from it what you will kind of answer. Very, very cryptic. I think he's very, very aware now after his tried comeback after the injury.
His faux pas, as we'll put it.
Yeah, his have a go. And you can't knock the guy for having a go, Jesus. He's now more aware of the realistic danger of him coming back.
Certainly, that is 100% true. But yeah, so I guess we don't know when he's going to be back, but it does sound like he'll be back at some point this year, at least as far as what he's spouting off, that he'll be back at some point this year. But he was also not convinced he's going to come back fast. I kind of got that he was implying that it might take him half a season before he's fast. I think he said something like it might be one race, it might be two races, it might be half a season before you see the real Marc again. So he's kind of put it out there that he could come back halfway through the year and it could take him 10 rounds to be back up to speed.
The skeptical Steve would say he is sandbagging it. And, he's using mind games already to sort of convince his opponents that if he comes back at round one, they're going to come into it and think, right, he's back.
But he's not going to win this race. Yeah, that's a good point. He is kind of laying the expectation out, isn't it? So whether or not he's at full fitness or not, if he doesn't win the first race, and arguably, if he comes back in the first round, Steve, you're right. If he comes back in the first round, after he's put this out there, he's now given himself 10 races in which he can be like, well, I told you it would take me 10 races to win a race. So he could be at full fitness for those 10 races and not win any of them, but the competition will be going, shit, but what about when he gets up to full fitness?
Yeah, exactly. Mind games have started, I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
already.
I think you're right.
And we've seen numerous riders do this over the year. Start just getting in the heads of your opponents. It happens in all sports. MotoGP is no exception.
Yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me if it is 70% true that he will not be able to compete at full fitness. But just by laying these little foundations, dropping these little bricks down, he's going to start putting doubts and fears. And let's say he does come out round one, and all of a sudden he's only a tenth off the pace. He's then going the other way in people's heads and starting thinking, well, actually, is he going to come out the blocks? I better push.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. He comes out and he's just a tenth off. Everyone's like, fuck, we thought he'd be 2 or 3 seconds off. He said he was going to be really unfit. How is he already this quick?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you've got to start pushing and making mistakes, and away you go.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, all he has to do is stick it on 4th, 5th, 3rd, 2nd every now and again, and he could scrape a title.
And if we have another season like last season where it's so inconsistent with people scoring points, all of a sudden,
yeah, quite.
He's scraping by 4th every time. Bang, job's good.
Yeah, and I think, it would be really tight on whether just averaging 4th place would be enough. But I think it wouldn't be far off that. Averaging, compared to what happened last year, I think it could be that if you finished 4th place every single race, you'd average enough points to at least be in the conversation for the title.
Oh, absolutely. It depends on what your competition do as well, doesn't it? If they're bouncing around all over the place, having DNFs and non-scores and maybe a 10th place finish, and you're consistently in 4th place.
Yeah. How many points do you score for 4th place?
Now I've gone massively quiet.
Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head either. Right, so it's 25, 20, 16, 13.
Yeah. 13.
So last year, if you'd averaged 4th place every single race, you'd have won the title.
Exactly. There you go.
Johan Mir scored 171 points last year over 14 rounds, which is an average of 12.2 points per round.
There you go.
So yeah, he could do it. Wow, that's mental. Okay, I'm sure that's not what's going to happen, but can you fucking imagine if someone went and won a title without a podium, let alone a win?
Well, this is what we were saying about Mir, wasn't it, last year?
Oh, what if he does it without a win?
Yeah, but if somebody actually did it without a podium, would be absolutely incredible.
Oh my god! And wouldn't it be an incredible comeback for Marc Marquez to go and win a title without a fucking podium, let alone a win? That would be the ultimate. Do you know what? Fuck the lot of you, because I can do it without even scoring a podium.
Exactly. Interesting, mate. It is going to be so interesting.
It's going to be a fun year, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm feeling quite optimistic about it, and it's feeling good. I'm feeling excited for it.
Yes, definitely, right. It's close. We're only a couple of weeks away from testing, and it's just really starting to seem real. I sent you a message the other day, didn't I? Whereas Suzuki had released a picture of the bikes packed up, ready to go. And when you start seeing that, it's like, shit, hang on, everyone's starting to move here.
Yeah, exactly. And I imagine the logistics of MotoGP is similar to the logistics of Formula One, where they've got almost 3 or 4 entire setups. So they'll be sending a setup out to Qatar now, but they'll also be sending a setup into Europe, and they'll be sending a setup probably into Asia at this point.
I would imagine so.
So that they can just follow it around. So they haven't got to keep flying all of their gear at the same time around. They'll just have a setup waiting for them in Asia. They'll have a setup waiting for them in Europe. They'll have a setup waiting for them in the Middle East.
Yeah, that's got to be how it works. Otherwise, the logistics of moving everything around the globe, if you had just two bikes that went everywhere, imagine the air miles.
Yeah, quite. I don't know that, though. I don't know that's how that works in MotoGP, but that is certainly how it works in Formula 1.
I might do some digging this week, see if I can find out, because that would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
If it isn't the case, and they do ship the same setup all around the world, my God, that is an effort.
Yes, quite.
I would imagine you must be right to some version, even if they had, say, an Asian, a European, and a US setup.
Yeah.
So they could keep it in roughly the same sort of geographical area.
Or maybe it's just the pit setups they have and the hospitality suites and stuff, but they just still ship the bikes. That would be reasonable. Yeah,
the bikes might be a bit more on par. We'll see. I'll do some digging this week, so we can find out.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff. Right, so we're continuing through the news there, Steve. We have a birthday to talk about.
We do. Not mine, thank God.
Not yours. No, you are just a touch younger than one Valentino Rossi.
Just a touch.
Who has hit the big 42 this year. 42. Incredible. And still there on the MotoGP grid. At least fucking more than 10 years older than anyone else. I think he's a decade older than the next oldest guy, who I think is Aleix Espargaro.
I think so. It's just insane to think he's still there.
Yeah, isn't it? It's bonkers, man. Absolute bonkers. But you've put a nice question here to me. What do you get a 9-time world champion for his birthday? And honestly, Steve, I wouldn't bother.
No, I don't think I'd bother.
I'd be like, look, Valentino, mate, I'm here. I'm at your party. What more could you want?
Yeah, I've brought the dreadlocks.
Yeah, that's it. I bought the dreadlocks. I bought the raw blunt skins, mate. What more do you want?
Let's blaze it up.
And then all of a sudden he actually fails a drug test and can't compete for his next season. Whoops.
Whoopsie. Yeah, I would have no idea. Like you say, I wouldn't even bother. That man has got everything as it is.
Yeah, maybe you get him for one of those a nice wooden box, Steve, and it's carved and it says on it, "For the man who has everything," and you pop it open and inside there's a belly button brush.
Maybe, yeah, that's a good shout. That is a good shout. It would have to be something outlandish and funky. You couldn't just go out and buy him, I don't know, an Xbox. Because let's face it, if he wants an Xbox, he can go get an Xbox.
He could probably walk into his local Argos, assuming they have an Argos in Tavulia, and he could just get given an Xbox, I'd imagine. I don't think there's a lot. But the thing is, with someone like that, you'd have to get him something completely non-motorcycle related, completely nothing to do with Italy, nothing to do with motorsport at all. It would have to be just a bit weird is what you'd have to get him. Like, I imagine, actually, if I was going to see Valentino Rossi today, I would get him a bottle of whiskey from the distillery that's 5 miles down the road from me. Because that feels like a nice, close, personalised gift. If it was you, for example, and you were to be going to see Valentino Rossi, get him some crabs from Cromer, for example. Get a nice local... Don't actually then travel with crabs all the way to Italy. That would be a terrible, terrible idea. But, a nice Norfolk produce. You'd have to get him something nice and local. That's what you'd get him for his birthday.
I was going with knitting.
Cider, there's a lot of cider in Norfolk. Adnams, we could just make it a boozy one. Gin, you get him an Adnams gin from the Adnams distillery. I'll go to the Talisker distillery just down the road. There's a bottle of gin, bottle of whiskey. We've done it. There we go. That's what we're getting Valentino Rossi for his 42nd birthday, Steve.
Sorted. We'll get it on the way.
So we'll see you in a bit, Vale.
We're coming for a party.
And then our last piece of news for the week, then, Steve, is the Petrucci's recovery as such and his preparation for the 2021 season. Dino Petrucci, for those of you who don't know, and to be fair, that is most of us didn't know until very recently, has been suffering with injuries that he received in a crash during the Jerez test last year.
I had no idea.
No, did you read into this though?
I read a little bit into it, and then Brody wanted feeding.
Awkward. Yeah, that kind of sucks for you. So basically, Petrucci had a big crash in the Jerez test, and then towards the end of the season, was starting to get numbness down his arms, and he was in races and just couldn't feel his arms anymore.
Bizarre.
Yeah, not good. Not a good
Not
look.
good.
At that point, I'm like, I think I might need to stop because I can't. When you're riding a motorbike, I mean, most of you listening will probably understand what it's like to ride a motorbike. For the few of you that don't, you need your hands and your arms because they're literally doing all of your going, all of your stopping, and half of your changing gear is on your hands and your arms. So, and not all of your stopping, to be fair. Some of you will use a leg for part of your stopping, but for me, it's all of the stopping.
I don't bother with the brakes on my whole thing. It's shite.
You just put your feet down.
Honestly, it'd be better.
I once actually, and it's the the bits of motorcycle that are currently in your garden. The brakes on that completely failed on me one day. Completely failed, and I did have to stop it with my feet. Yeah. That was scary, and I went through an entire set of boots doing that.
The closest one I had was I was following a car down the road. Car went round a cyclist, so I let the car gain a bit of ground because I'm on an old bike. I'm going to have to give it a bit of tug to get around him. Did that, gave it the old lifesaver look back at the cyclist, and as I looked back and was about to sort of carry on my trip down this 40-mile-an-hour piece of road, the car in front had stopped and was indicating right to turn.
Oh my god!
So at which point I'm in the middle of the road. He's diagonally across the road to turn, and I'm like, "Well, this is fucking interesting."
You're like, where can I possibly go here? Because if I go right, he's going to wipe me out as he turns. If I go left, I'm going to wipe this cyclist out, and there might not even be enough room for me to get through that gap.
Exactly. But the only thing I could do, I'm on a 1950s bike. I literally stood on the pegs, left foot on the brakes, they're on opposite sides. Locked the back wheel up, heading straight for him, and then released it at the last minute and did a bit of commando stuff around his bonnet.
See, that would be my problem. I'd have crashed pretty quickly because I'd have forgotten the brakes on my left foot and I'd have just changed gear.
Yeah. I did pull the clutch, and because I was stood up, I had the thing pinned as well, so I was revving the hell out of it.
Yeah.
But in doing so, I was pulling down so hard because these brakes are so shit, I actually bent the foot pegs.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, on the old bike, you have one long shaft with a spline on each end, or like a teeth.
Yeah,
almost like a cog. Pushed the pegs on, and what I'd actually done is sheared them. I was pushing down so hard, so the pegs were all flappy as I was getting home.
That's not ideal.
No, my saving grace was there was cars coming the other way, so this guy didn't move.
Oh, okay, so you got away with it like that, yeah.
Yeah, but I was squeezed in between like his bonnet and the car coming the other way.
Yeah, that's not good at all, is it? That's terrifying.
Yeah, I did stop about 100 meters down the road to just like check I was still alive.
But anyway, Dino Petrucci, it turns out he suffered quite a severe hernia in this crash, didn't get it diagnosed till the off-season and has been out for more than a month now. So he hasn't been training, hasn't been doing anything. However, he now thinks he's back up to full health, so we'll be back to his training, and he believes he will be fully fit for the start of the year.
I hope so.
I really hope so too, because we've already seen the KTM won 3 races last year, and 2 of those races were literally on the bike he's taking over, on that Tech 3 bike. So he's certainly in for a good shot, and I think he needs to be firing on all cylinders straight away to make the most of this opportunity.
Yeah, it's not a move I'd want to make and then come into it injured. That sucks big time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really hope he comes back at full speed. Like, he's a race winner and he's on a race winning bike. That's a brilliant package. Rest up, get back.
And it looks fucking amazing.
It does look bloody amazing. So yeah, come on, Petrux, you can do it, man.
Yep, exactly. That's it. Right, Steve. I think that brings us to the end of our news show, my friend.
I think it does, bud.
Which is good stuff. So, guys, if you want to come and have a join, we've mentioned it briefly in this show, but we do have the Facebook group now. There's still not a huge amount of us in there, but there is 100% more people in there than there was at this time last week. So come over and join us, have some chats. You'll be treated to things like Steve's Monday Moans. And this week's Monday Moan, Steve, was a good one. I enjoyed it. It was great.
Did you like that?
I did like it, and I liked it so much. It's in my notes, and I'm gonna read it out today. This feels like a weird pushy plug that I feel a bit cringy doing, because part of me feels like I'm selling out by kind of really plugging at our own group here. But as our only group has less than 30 members at the moment, and we're making £0 off it at all, I feel like maybe it's not selling out. So I'm gonna read out your Monday moan, Steve, because it really tickled me.
Go for it.
Here it is. I'm not going to try and do an impression of your voice because I'm only going to embarrass myself doing it. So, well, today it's the Repsol Honda, but more specifically, their dedication to minimalistic changes to their livery. I mean, seriously, their design office needs to pop some LSD and get the crayons out. And I agree with you 100%, Steve, and I think it's fair to say that everyone else who commented on it also agreed with your Monday moan. People really did get behind it, and actually, Honda, if you're listening, we had someone offer to redesign the livery, complete redesign of the livery, for half the price you're currently paying your designers. So if you're listening, and I know you are, drop us an email and we'll put you in touch with the designer for a small finder's fee. Yep. We're willing to do that. Not selling out at all, but willing to help you out, Honda.
You fucking look if that comes off. We get an email next week.
Oh my god. The problem is, if that happened, I'd just have to put them in touch with the guy, wouldn't I? And be like, I can't obviously take a finder's fee from this, mate. I'll let you deal with this.
Go crack on and make something fucking epic.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be like, just put a picture of me and Steve on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be cracking. A face either side. Way.
Oh my god, that would be way, way, way more worth it than any finder's fee, wouldn't it? Just having our faces either side of the bike.
Oh, cracking.
And actually, Guy, we will stop it there because me and Steve are about to record another show and it's going to become a late night. So if you don't want to contact us on Facebook Honda and you want to contact us in another manner, you can do so via...
We are For the Love of MotoGP. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter, or drop us an email. We are For the Love of MotoGP @gmail.com.
Nailed it, my friend. I nearly wrote it in the notes. Don't fuck the email, Steve. But you nailed it.
So long as well, and just that couple of weeks ago screwed it.
Oh, it was fun though. I enjoyed it. I like it. You just throwing it in there to keep us on our toes. I enjoyed that.
Oh, and the fact that other people picked up on it as well. Well, that was the show that screwed up. And then when you sort it out and made it longer, it actually had people writing to us saying it was worth it just to hear Steve fuck up the email. Thanks.
It's becoming a fun trope, man. It's good. I enjoy it.
I know. Every week we get to this point and I get a little bit sweaty and a little tense.
a little concerned about what's going on. For all I know, you've already got it just like post-it note on your laptop screen there where I can't see it, but you can with it written out.
Oh, there's nothing there. If I put anything on this laptop, it'll freak out, mate.
Yeah, even a post-it note will be too much.
It barely makes it for a show.
Right, well, let's call it there, Steve. Thank you very much for listening, guys. If you can do us a solid and leave us a rating and a review wherever you are listening, that would be super, super cool. And remember, come join our Facebook group. So look after each other out there, guys. Remember, fist bumps, elbow bumps, mask it or casket. Look after each other. We'll speak to you soon, guys. Goodbye.
Take care, guys.
Music is by Andrew Greenwood. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.